A versus B. Let's get underway though. Storm Point we go. Match number 4 here for A versus B. This is where we start to get down to the busy end of the day, Genome. 3 games remaining. Well, first place is probably not really up for grabs, but everything else still firmly is.
Yeah, definitely a lot for these teams to play towards in Storm Point here. Now, I'm about to leave the cast and replace myself with a New Zealand caster, Xenox, just so they can give us a haka. Because guess what? Big Boss, true to his name, has picked up Gibraltar for GQ.
Wow. I mean, it's a little bit surprising in a sense that it's gotten to that kind of point, right? Where Gibraltar used to be such a staple, kind of picked around the same rate that we see from Valkyrie even now, but even back then still. Yeah, in some ways it's a little bit sad, isn't it?
I miss him.
Yeah.
I miss the big man. He looks like he'd give good hugs. You know?
Done Apac North and their Watson ruled the world.
Yeah, they really did spread that to the rest of us. After
You could say they spread their fences around the world.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
If you want to go with that, yep. Okay.
Do you think it's going to make much of a difference though on Storm Point? The Gibraltar was actually, it's an interesting conversation because that's where the Watson originally in APAC North was more all about World's Edge, and then we'd go back over to
then we'd go back over to exactly what we just said. Yeah,
pretty much.
Oh boy. This one actually may not be like super barometer. It might actually be a little bit more towards where you see Su2 tap from GQ near the IMC Armory. It does look like it probably will be a hard pull down to there. Either way though, like even if it's not barometer, like they were still next door to it, right? So, man, as far as the luck could go, it's honestly it's going pretty well for Daewoo today. Not only luck, of course, there's an incredible amount of skill involved in how they're playing today, but it's sometimes in BRs you need it all to go your way to have a record-breaking day, and it feels like that could be happening as Moist go down in an early fight with MDY.
Yeah, strange. Moist Esports haven't really been fighting a whole lot early on in these games, prioritizing position, late game fights has sort of been more so their thing. They do get the revives, they're fine, they're okay. We do head over. Oh, Jaro probably feeling a bit of a pinch here at the moment with Xiao Kai still white armor. That's gone down very quickly for Team Mop. It has not been very, very friendly in this lobby, but they get rid of Good Riddance, who have not been able to find success here.
Yeah, really tough from them. Team Up, not a team you want to see early on in the game when it's just you and just them. Now, of course, the reason Moist were over there and taking a bit of fire from MDY White is because they didn't get the beacon at Cascade Falls, so they had to make their way over to Ski Lift to grab that information. Of course, that delays their rotation even further. And, now that they do have that information... No, they haven't, actually. They're still too worried about MDY White that they're thinking about. They're worried about taking the damage while they're on the beacon, so they finally get it now. Anyway, other teams to talk about. We've got Northside there within the market. We've seen this be a good position, Xenox, but not great, because once the circles close and get a bit smaller, there's a lot of cracks, there's a lot of angles for people to take on you, and you can get shot like even through the roof. There's little cracks in there that people can wind down on you from.
Pick up for Savior. Obviously not a bad position to sort of fight for at the moment. Northside Esport, the ones that are contesting, have a good. This is just sort of on the major cliff at the center point, the starting point of this game. Early med kit from Jolus. Don't really sense that they're going to want to push out of this location. Don't know if it's necessarily going to shift onto them, Gino, but at the very least, they've got a couple of circles to sort of hold out here before they do have to maybe get moving. I kind of look at this green circle, and I think it is probably more likely to pull down to the south over towards Barometer, and you kind of get your wish there if it does eventuate.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not reading it like that, Xenox, and I don't think the teams are either. Even Dewa, who could sit up in that northern building that I'm talking about, have actually chosen one that's a bit more central than that. So teams definitely flocking towards the budget mill IMC side of things. And if that is the case, it's going to be teams like Hermagerd, MDY. No, this is actually MDY in the other IMC, aren't they? Yeah, they're the one down at like Fish Farms at the moment. A bit further away. You know, Moist had to make that long rotation. Chicken Sandwich, once again, getting a bit frisky. They're going after SRY. Do they know that they're in pursuit? The bullets ring out now. They definitely do. Okay, double cracks. Do SRY want to push this, or are they going to let Chicken Sandwich dictate this fight, Xenox?
Yeah, potentially so. SRY struggled in this lobby. Fortunately,
Prowlers.
It's the same teams over the course of World's Edge that struggled, that so far starting a little bit slow here on Storm Point as well. Doesn't seem to be much of a difference between the two maps. Sandwich feeling like they've got to probably finish this one quickly. Millicent's knocked. There's probably more to follow. Strafing Flame has been knocked though. Same with Hannah. This has actually gone horribly wrong very quickly for Chicken Sandwich.
Oh,
Analyst has done well. Oh, this is a disaster.
Yeah, look, you said he's done well, but unfortunately at the time you said that, he was popping a shield battery and he had about 10 health remaining. He very really quickly realized there was probably no good way out of that situation, because he had to pop the medkit to stay alive, but if he didn't do that, then he probably wasn't going to have any shields and he'd go down to play a K anyway. Anyway, the amount of damage this ring does, as long as you get that medkit off as soon as you get revived, you can get back into it. So you can see Panna and Strafing Flame, all good for now. Chicken Sandwich, they can actually decide to take a longer rotation and go through Launchpad and craft a couple of extra meds down there if they need to. There's even beacons ahead of them as well. So a lot of options here for Chicken Sandwich, honestly, who have just seen a lot of success playing this more edge kind of play style in previous weeks. And there we go.
Wow. Yeah. Goes over towards this western side, right on top of Hermagerd, who just did not have to move. Same with Northside. Northside actually have that intel as well. Obviously, the same can be said for GQ, right in the middle of it, on that little island. That's mean those teams, though, in Barometer, all will have to sort of fight their way into that next circle. Northside's looking a little bit more vacant. Head over to 505. Not a surprise to see them in a fight. So Prezi, last one left alive, has a little bit of armor, has no health. And that is 505 eliminated early here on Storm Point. Out in 17th. And Manuel coming away with a big fight win. Something they've probably struggled a little bit with today. Had some good positions at times, but it's a lot of the times a player or two getting knocked early, and then it's, you know, down to A-Flow as a solo. This time, all three walk away healthy. They get the clean squad wipe. Good to see for them.
Well, Dugu play right on the backs of Free Agent here, up towards Mill. Leem already down. Can Dugu play capitalize? Really taken any damage so far. Utility going in. Two more players to find.
Oh, his shot's just not landing as quick as he would have liked. Almost actually went down. But Lahim, Pelican, Big Z, all gone. Free Agents out in 16th. There's this early aggression into the second round really proving to be a factor, and I would imagine it's going to continue that way when you take into account the way the circle is shifting. Those teams in Barometer will have to fight their way out. Then you've got teams that are still further out towards the east. MDY and MDY White running next to each other. And coming in now through Antenna is going to be Chicken Sandwich, so they edge closer towards getting into this circle as well.
Other teams have got a little further to rotate, though. Chicken Sandwich, of course, being one of those. They're barely just getting into Jurassic Park now, or they might find MDY as a duo. MDY White blocking the other entrance or exit, depending on your point of view, from Jurassic Park. So they're just going to Valcall over the top of it, see where they find themselves.
And this is still just the major strength
last
of
time
Valkyrie.
they were here, they found that Barrow right ahead of them, Xenox. They didn't do very well. Because they're not seeing anyone in this building, which is far better to hold, they're going to head straight in there. And they're actually going to be pretty damn happy about that. Because the Barrow, as we saw from last time when Tsuru-sama was just peppering them with Sentinel bullets, isn't the greatest to hold.
Yeah, and that's the full strength of the Valkyrie on display as well. This is a team that has come basically from the other side of the map, right, at an inopportune time, and they've been able to still make their way to Barometer. Unfortunately for them, Barometer is only kind of a pit stop really along the way, where they have to keep making their way over towards, you know, essentially where GQ currently located. So they have to get moving, and while that one rotation was rather seamless, rather easy, and as you said, they were able to scout out this building, the next one, the next move, the next rotation, not going to be as easy.
I mean, this is not what you expect from Moist Esports either. We're seeing them in the zone, crafting, and you know, just trying to find their way back into it. That's not their comfort spot, and that's certainly not how they want to be playing this game out. That's why they land in Cascade Falls, nice and central, where they can just rotate easily and quickly to a spot of their choice. So, playing it on the outside here. They're not going to be super happy about that, because it's MDY that you can see are actually shadowing them right now. They are rotating alongside them, and shots ringing out, and they can't shoot back. They barely have enough time to get the meds up for themselves. Anyway, going back towards where the zone is, Xenox, you can see that the team's taking the IMC here, and MDY just goes straight in for it.
Yeah, Mingyu gets Sutap. Anyway, White, her arm very low for themselves. This is basically going to come down to the final couple of bullets. GQ are gone. They had best position, but they've been infiltrated by MDY White. They're not the only team. Emmanuel are actually pushing at the same time. They're going for the third party. They sense that there's an opportunity for them to take this position. Now is the time to do so. Maybe just gone in really early. Asia just wipes them out, making sure that MDY White do not get any sort of chance to breathe, to heal, to survive, take this position for themselves, and no one close by at a third party. This is all Emmanuel's.
That was the biggest gift I've ever seen as far as third parties go. I mean, GQ, I mean, sure, you have to try and find somewhere to play, but... oh, sorry, it was a GQ that was already in there, so MDY White, you know, they have to find somewhere to play, but they had no business taking that fight, and certainly... were kind of lucky to come out on top, frankly, and the chances of them staying alive afterwards were almost nil. So when Emmanuel coming in there, that was kind of obvious. Anyway, Chicken Sandwich, they finally have tried to get their way back into the ring, but it's MDY who have just had their eyes trained on them for the longest time, who finally punished them out. So we didn't quite catch how Chicken Sandwich... oh, sorry. Yeah, Chicken Sandwich got into that position. Oh yeah, because Moist have actually made it out. Sorry, I was thinking of Moist as well, but they're a bit further north. So
I think Moist actually just went all the way north and away from MDY, who was obviously sort of gatekeeping them a bit. So they've spent some time obviously healing up, and it's been a bit rough. But you know, in all credit, they got 3 up. They're sending it in. Skyward Dive. What can they get from here? They're not really in the best of positions to fight straight away. They probably want to just find a safe spot, somewhere that they can maybe shoot, get that Evo building up, get those shields up. You know, blue, white shield at this point of the game, not really going to be enough, but it's not an awful position. it's safe for now. Yeah, it gives them a chance to probably start building up that evo a bit.
It does give them a little bit of a chance, doesn't it? You know, Moist, they do find their position though, so still time for them to work this out. Dewa, they're going up against MDY. A bit of cover here. The RE45 once again in play. Finally, someone who's willing to use the digital threat sight with it. You've seen a lot of other pros today have just flipped that off in order to go with that care package weapon. Well, I certainly wouldn't want to be going up against them if I was MDY right now, but even though his hands have taken some damage, it looks like the fight is on in earnest.
Yeah, certainly is. One cracked already. QQ. Actually, Dewa, they've generally been really good in these fights today. They're not going to lose this one either. Easy Flash did get knocked. There is a chance they might get third-partied in an inopportune time. And even still, they get the revive. Even still, they don't get fully punished. Though there is finally that push coming in. Posse, Shady, right on top of them. Boogie Borders looking to finally maybe make Dewa United pay. Being a little bit unclean in that earlier fight. They are gone. They are out in 10th. They only got a couple of kills this game. When the records are on the line, Gino, teams just sort of fall to their knees a little bit. And Boogie Borders will be very happy with that. They have struggled on World's Edge, but maybe Storm Point will be their map.
Could be the one. Certainly wasn't World's Edge. And now Boogie Borders have 6 kills to their name. And 3 maps in which to make their mark.
And up to blue now for Brycey. We spoke about this obviously with the Evo that they desperately needed. It was blue-white, now it's at least blue-blue. I'm hoping Empty's probably somewhat close to purple. Spend some time there on that edge. You know, getting shots away. Now you've got to take those fights. You play. Moonlight Tears going to pop the bat. And armor at least for Busu Say. The Mop going to be gone, so 8 teams remain. 24 alive.
Yeah, they're gone, but they're taking Boogie Borders with them. Didn't join the fight cleanly enough, and yeah, just 1 or 2 shots there from, I think it was Savior, something like that, on Hermagerd was enough to finish them off. Meanwhile, Truth Esports try to make their way in to Exo's building, but they have their name on the title.
I said before, when we threw to the break, if you can find Exo Clan, well, they've found their way over to Storm Point. 2 matches in a row, Gino, where they finished last after finishing first. Maybe it's going to be first or last for Exo. Could you imagine first, last, first? It may very well be on the cards. Do have Moist pushing in behind them, though. Exo have to be aware of that. They have to be aware that they've got a team right outside their building, right behind them as Northside, trying to just deal with what's in front of them in Dugu play. There's one down. He'll only noob. Leading out at the moment, so maybe a chance for Northside to push on this. They've got to time this well to get rid of Moonlight Tears. So only Busu Say left. Does have a good angle, good sight lines. I don't know if it's going to be enough without the rest of his team.
I don't think he's going to be able to take on all 3 of Northside Esports, who are currently benefiting from his teammates' loot boxes. Moist Esports have found themselves underneath Exo Clan right now, and they're probably happy to just stay there for the moment. Emmanuel up to 3 reds. They're sitting in the IMC currently. They've been there ever since they were able to finish the other 2 off. They've actually got a trident, so they're going to use that to just park their way into the next zone. Ride or die.
Going to be the game where it really just goes the way of Emmanuel. Had a good fight earlier, good third party, but now you've got to push out. Now it's not going to be as easy for you. They're starting to feel that pressure. Asia, A-Flow, both low. Can they find a crack here? They find something that can go their way. Yeah, there is. A bit of flash down in front of them. They're looking to just try and finish off. Arcstars have gone out. Davis has fallen. Fortunately, it's only Asia that's left, and he is falling very quickly by the wayside. Got to get this off. Got to find this kill. Cannot. Unfortunate for Emmanuel. They just cannot survive. Full credit to Hermagerd. They survive and they do stay up, but I think it might only be the one that will be able to stay alive, and maybe not for much longer anyway. Yeah. Unfortunately, Saber got pushed very, very quickly. Pricey will be the benefactor for Moist Esports. 3 squads remain. Northside, EXO. I think EXO might be in the best position here because Northside's gone in. They've gone in early. They've lost the player. EXO need to just third party this.
They recognize it at exactly the right time. They get in on top of Northside, and
It's actually happened.
for the second time, EXO take the victory where it looks like there was almost no other option, no other possibility.
Wow.
Complete control